I'd like to acknowledge the work that both ministers have done over the last few weeks to ensure that children with special education and complex needs can return to school shortly. I welcome the Minister's statement which says that all parties are working together towards a phased return by January 21st. This is welcome considering that some of the children in these cases have profound needs and the impact of COVID on their education and socialisation is often most profound. Again, I welcome that both ministers have engaged extensively with all stakeholders, having recently met with Inclusion Ireland, Family Carers Ireland, Down Syndrome Ireland and As I Am about the prospects of reopening. The families and students represented by these groups have clearly communicated the importance of returning to education for some of our most vulnerable students and are best placed to speak about how detachment from a school or care setting negatively impacts on these students most. From listening to parents of students affected, they will tell you remote learning can never replace on-site education and care. With regards to special education, can I ask the Minister specifically to elaborate or comment on what additional support measures are being examined in the interim to facilitate a safe return for these students? Minister, I would also like to acknowledge the role played by Forsa Trade Union in ensuring a resumption of special education can proceed on a phased basis. And of course, the announcement regarding a return for primary school children is to be welcomed. But can I ask what the arrangement with second-level students what those arrangements are, and are similar talks progressing at second level with all stakeholders in regards to special education? As the ministers know, up and down the country there are nearly 2,000 special classes in nearly 1,000 schools. Many second level students attend these ASD units. What does a phased return to school mean for these second level students? Secondly, I would also like to mention the Leaving Cert. As a teacher like yourself, Minister Foley, we know the importance of the Leaving Cert and how ideally this exam needs to proceed. That said, I do believe that questions surrounding the Leaving Cert need to be answered sooner rather than later. The debate needs to be concluded rather than to be allowed trundle on, because as we have seen again here today, some opposition parties prefer to speak out both sides of their mouths and add to the pressures already experienced by students and their families. Minister, I note that your advisory group is to meet again shortly, and while I myself think that we need to look at a blended hybrid option, perhaps offering both a traditional Leaving Cert and accompanied by a refined predictive grading model, I note that the Irish Second Level Students' Union has written to members of the Oireachtas Education Committee detailing the pressures experienced by students in this vacuum that we currently find ourselves in. That said, if a traditional Leaving Cert accompanied by predictive grading does become the option akin to last year, we will also need to look at stripping back the content and number of modules in certain syllabi or providing increased questions or options on the Leaving Cert papers. And just my third question just relates to repeat students, and I suppose if we do find ourselves in a predicament where predictive grading is the optimum model, we still need to be able to facilitate those students that may have to repeat exams again for next year. So just appreciate answers to those three questions. Thank you, Chair.